Yes, so from the best part of the presentation to the more dry stuff, our broadcasting system, just a small introduction, I'll keep it short. But we have a rather particular system in the Netherlands. We have about, we have 21 broadcasters, so that's a lot of organizations. Half of them are founded by members, and the other half is like 11 of them are smaller organizations that get their airtime because they represent certain religious groups. So we have, I think, 9 big organizations that the EO, the one that broadcasted this film, is one of them. And we have also a Hindu broadcaster, a Buddhist one, a Jewish one, a lot of them, 21. So that's, I think, a system that's not familiar to you. This system is developed in the 20th century when all the social and groups in the Netherlands had their own newspapers and their own schools and everything. So that's how this was originated. They also had their own money, but since 2006, the system changed. So the umbrella organization that's even on top of all the different broadcasters, they kept the money from then on, and the different broadcasters, they should apply for making the programs and apply for the money over there. I'm telling you this because it is relevant to the kids and dogs story we're about to tell, because of course there's money involved as well in broadcasters. So what's about to happen now in the Netherlands regarding the broadcasters is that we're facing a big budget loss, 200 million. So what's happening is that a lot of these broadcasters are emerging right now. So that's been going on for the last year. Pluriformity or diversity, as you can understand with all these different broadcasters, is a big thing, a big value in the Netherlands. And another important thing or task of the public broadcasters, as it probably is in your countries, is culture. Broadcasters have to bring culture on television and radio. They didn't deliver in the 1980s. They didn't do that as well, thought the Dutch government. So then they decided to take a little bit of the money of the income of the advertisements into a separate fund, an independent fund, and that's how the Mediafonds started, and that's the organization that I work for. Dutch Cultural Media Fund as the whole title. We've been existing for 26 years. We have about 60 million euro to divide amongst these different public broadcasters, so you get an idea. They apply for money to make documentaries, to make drama series, etc. But it is money meant for cultural programs, and we, in our fund, we check whether these programs have the artistic value that we're supposed to, that the money is supposed to go to. It's meant for television, this money. It's meant for radio programs, for transmedia. It's meant for drama, for documentary, but also a lot of it for children's documentaries. And in the last few years, we've been investing also in games, in video clips, and in dance films. And besides giving money to content, to programs and projects, we also have a separate pot of money for workshops to invest in talent, and in that way also to stimulate quality. And we also have our own magazine. But in all the things that we do and all the things that we talk about, it's all about quality. So that's a really important stuff. And of course, it's a debatable term, because what is quality? So that's what a lot of discussion is going on. But just to give you one example of a project that I personally really love, it's already quite old. It's from 2006, but it is also related to children's documentaries. You might have already seen it or heard about it, I don't know. Who has? It's made by, it's called herinnerdingen.nl. That means quite literally rememberthings.nl. It's a website, a platform. And it's made by a filmmaker named Boudewijn Kolen. You might know him because he started filmmaking, making children's documentaries. But now lately he switched to drama series. Actually, I think because there wasn't enough money for children's documentaries a couple of years ago. So he switched to drama, which he's doing really well. Because he made Cowboy. Film you might heard of. And as our fund, together with another organization, we organized this lab called Sandberg at Mediafonds. And in that lab, we put filmmakers and the designers together, just to give you an example of the projects that we do besides funding films and projects. So he was matched together with Ryan Odeber. He's a designer, and together they took the films that Boudewijn made, his children's documentaries about. Well, he made a lot of films about death for children. So they took that theme and they they founded this platform to give children a place to go to and to mount their own or start their own monuments for people they've lost. Or animals, or, well, I'm going to show you right now, so you get an idea, and I hope you like it as much as I do. Here you see it's a website with a lot of different pictures on it. I'm going to a little bit softer now. It's little films. Children can make their own monuments, as I said. So they have this tool on the website where you can go to, you fill in your name and some other stuff. And then you upload pictures of things that remind you of the person, your grandmother, for example, that you've lost, that has died. And then you tell a story about the things that make you remember about your grandmother. And that's how you actually make your own film. But there's this grid, this format that works really well. You can upload your little film. You give it a title. Here you see the person that died. Here her name is Honey. It's an aunt of the person that made the monument. This is when she was born, when she died. And this is the cause of death, because apparently children think it's really important that if you have this monument, you want to know where this person or animal, because that's also possible, died of. And this is the person that made the little film. And here you can play the film. All these different monuments for all these different people that have died, they form one bigger picture. It's a mosaic, as you can see. And on the date that your person that you made the monument for died, all the pictures together, so all the monuments together make this bigger monument of one of your pictures from your monuments. So I think that works really well. It's the whole concept is, I think, well, really works out. It's artistic in a way, but it's also the way they organized it. They had children make their own content, and I think, well, it works really well. And what's also interesting is that they work together with a foundation that's aimed at, well, to help children deal with death. So they're the ones that actually have run the website and curated it for the last 6 years. And besides that, the broadcaster VPRO, at the time that this website was launched, they also made broadcasting, and they showed Boudewijn's films again, and they made publicity about this website. So, just to give you one idea of the things that we do in our fund, I'm going back to the keynote presentation. Very important, the keynote. So, children's documentaries and children's television. Well, we have a rich tradition. I think you all got this booklet when you came in, this green booklet called The Dutch Touch. And in that you can read that we have a kind of a rich tradition in regarding producing children's programs, not only documentaries, but it was really like a playground for filmmakers to start their careers, to start out new ideas and to find their voice as storytellers. So a lot of filmmakers started with children's televisions, but in the 1990s, I think children's documentaries, although there is a tradition in that genre as well, still there was the need to invest in that genre. So that's how the three parties, IDFA, Mediafonds and Syndicate, so 2 festivals and our fund, we grouped together and we started this workshop, the Kids and Docs workshop, to stimulate the genre children's documentaries and also actually through investing in new talent, filmmakers' talent. We've been working together since 1999, and right now, actually, since this week, the 15th edition is running. So the 3 of us are working together, and what's really important or really significant for this project is that there's a lot of commitment from a lot of different parties. So, of course, the 3 partners have been working together, investing time in this project, but also the broadcasters have been really, all these different broadcasters that I mentioned before, the Jewish one, the Hindu one, they all, through this workshop, also invested in making programs for their children, their own young viewers. I think through this project they could make this kind of programs, because all these different smaller broadcasters, they don't have the expertise in-house to make all that, so make all that happen. Also really important is ZEP, that's the children's part of the NPO. That's the umbrella organization that I mentioned before, the one that keeps the money for all the different broadcasters, because they've been, well, since the money became more centralized, they've been giving money to this, dedicating money to this workshop, to this project, because they also think that children's documentary, well, need to be made in the Netherlands, even though in this period that was really hard. And besides that, producers are also really important for the project. They step in, not right in the beginning, but we think that they're really important to guard the quality of the projects and to make the filmmakers take the next level. And if you think of that 10 years ago or something, when this project was also running, I think there was one producer interested and active in children's documentaries. But right now I think there's 15 or something, so that's significant. Also, the budget for the films that we develop is fixed. It used to be 35,000 for a 15-minute children's documentary, but from this year on, it will be 40,000. So that's a good thing. 25 of this budget comes from the broadcasters or the central organization I mentioned. The rest, 75%, is from the Mediafonds. Just to give you an idea of how it works. We've been organizing this workshop once a year. It takes about 6 months, and to just show you more or less how this workshop is structured, and then later on Meike will tell you more about the content of the workshop, like what we do in those 6 months. After last year's edition, we start evaluating. So how did it go? What do we want to improve, etc. Then, of course, we scout for new talent. We have a lot of people in the field that tip us, give names of new interesting filmmakers. And also, we have to ask the broadcasters whether they want to participate again. It's a formality for most of them, but still, we need to have them on board. So, and then we find a new tutor. Then we start the selection. Of course, applies are coming in, and we start to select and eventually match the broadcasters to the participants that will that take part in the workshop. So that's typical that broadcasters participate in the workshop not themselves, but they're matched to a filmmaker that's developing a film plan in their name, so to speak. Then the workshop will start, 12 sessions in half a year, more or less. That's an intensive course for them. And in the end of the workshop, when they deliver their film plans, they apply, or at least the broadcasters, they apply at the Mediafonds. And if everything goes well, they get money to produce the film. And that all ends or not ends, but it results in premieres at the festivals that are also partners in the project. So at Syndicate, we will have a premiere most of the times, and IDFA as well. And that's a place where we, of course, invite all these people that are so involved with children's documentaries, and we not just launch the new films, but we really present this new generation, kids and docs filmmakers. And we really see that more and more people want to be there because they really want to see what's happening and what's been, well, developed this year. And then, more or less, in the end of the chain is, of course, the broadcasting on television. And that's, I think, where Meike will take over from me now.
Sorry. Yes, so that was the idea of how the workshop is structured. Participants are emerging filmmakers. These are first, second-time filmmakers who might have experience, for example, in children's drama or documentaries for adults or any other proven talent in a way. We don't do it with total beginners. We just want to have them as professional filmmakers already aboard and who are curious about developing the genre and contributing also to the genre. We ask 1 or 2 tutors every year. These are renowned filmmakers. And of course, a lot of people come by for guest lectures. And to give you an idea, we make those films, again, for the age group 8 to 12 years old. So these are the results. Yes, I'm sorry. So what we do, Anna also already told you about the time schedule. Once they participate, they start with a rough film idea. So they do have to tell already a little bit about like what kind of story do they want to tell. And this can change in the beginning of the workshop still, because a lot of research needs to be done. But we really think it's important that the filmmakers have their own sort of appeal to a certain subject or a story to tell, because we do really think it's the director's approach to the story that is important, and it's also his or her visual idea. So it's very strong that the motivation is also there for the filmmaker. They start with this rough idea, let's say half a page or something. And in the workshop, they develop it to a film plan, we call, which is a little bit more pages, but also maybe some shot material or pictures. At least something that is able to present for the fund, for example, to the Mediafonds. But of course, also this helps the filmmakers really well to sharpen their idea about documentary. Through development and research and discussing, you know what the story is going to be a bit like. I mean, you should always be aware that reality will surprise you anyway while shooting, but at least the core of your film is there and your approach. So it's there to get funding, but also to develop the story and, of course, hopefully develop yourself as a filmmaker. That's the whole idea behind the workshop. And we do that with those 12 sessions that Anna mentioned. And in those sessions, we have a lot of discussions with the group. People read each other's proposals and new assignments. We watch films together, we discuss them, they make mood boards. There are people coming from like cameraman or like another director telling about their expertise, and hopefully this all contributes in shaping the story and make a good film. And I think we developed it now to a level that even the boundaries are explored, like what is your role as a filmmaker towards the subject? Like ethical things maybe, but also in form and style, using animation or drama. Or we really hope that those filmmakers feel some urge to also really invent the genre in a way. So not just a one-way portrait, but also really tell stories in a new and refreshing way. The workshop is every year also evaluated, of course, by us. And through the workshop, like Anna already told, we managed to have a big volume of productions coming out of those workshops because, when they get funding, and last year 100% was funded, so that means we have about 7 or 8 new documentaries for children every year from the Netherlands. And that's already on a yearly basis, so on and on. We have 77 productions now out of the workshop. So we're proud of that, and especially like those films, as Sounds from a Zine, you know, you can see it's touching, it's a story of the child's perspective, but also the filmmaker obviously experimented somehow with the sound, which is a clear thing, of course, because of the story, but it's good that she tried and challenged herself to make it appealing for an audience, I think. So I think this workshop contributed in the past somehow to the genre, but also, like Anna also said already, having those partners committed to the project. And now, since the last couple of years, we are so happy that a lot of other producers and broadcasters also are producing now documentary series for children, besides the workshop. So since now 300 documentaries are produced, I think, altogether. So that's a huge thing, and it's not only because of the workshop, not at all. I mean, we just continued in the 90s and 2000 till 10, when nobody else was doing it. But now, I mean, there's a sort of something we could call an industry with producers and broadcasters and producers who are sitting over there who think this is really the genre I want to make my specialty in. So we're really happy that that is going on, and that those films are getting made and becoming really nice films and winning awards and being selected in festivals. So also in international festivals, a lot of those films are being screened. I don't know if you know the film Anne Vliegt and Flies. I think she was selected for more than 80 festivals all over the world and winning 20 or 25 awards, and it's incredible. There wasn't such a thing yet in the Netherlands as an award for Dutch documentary. So during IDFA now, since 2 years, we present, actually the Mediafonds presents with a children's jury the award for the best Dutch documentary for children in the past year. Sounds from a Zine won also 2 years ago. Yes, like I said, it's being selected for a lot of international festivals, and as I speak for myself, in IDFA, we also screen documentaries for children. Half of them, like I select 15, half of them come from the Netherlands, and I always hope to have films like I've programmed Edna's Day or, from other countries. but it's quite hard sometimes to get them. So I would like to ask you all, get inspired and make some more. Now, I do think we should cooperate in an international way, and I would love to talk about all of you the coming days to see what possibilities and channels there are to have more cooperation between countries, I think, because the Dutch touch is there, but I would like to see some other films as well. But of course, the Dutch are doing well so far, and as a festival, we program them every day, actually. A lot of professional people come to the festival because we have a big market part. So festival programmers are in the screening rooms, but of course, the real audience are the children. And it's hard to get them to the festival by themselves. So what we do is we organize school screenings, and I think we reach about, throughout the country, we reach about 12,000 kids a year, I think, who watch the documentaries. In the early mornings, it's always a good idea to do it in the early morning, and you force them to the cinema and sit down and watch it. No, but like Aisha and Bernd also said, it's no question that they love documentaries. It's just a way of presenting it to them. And I mean, the discussions afterwards and the reflection on the main character, but also on the approach of the filmmaker sometimes. They have a lot of questions afterwards, and it's always working really well, actually. So we do believe in it, but we also try to find ways to get the audience to watch those films, of course. And so in the weekend, for example, it's a language thing as well. It's a difficult thing, but we are not used to dubbing and things like that. So in the weekend, we show the Dutch documentaries. But since 2 years, we do like a family day event, and it's called IDFA Junior. And then there were 200 tickets sold last year and a year before. And then we make it more into a festival event, like there's a nice famous person presenting it, and pancakes and workshops, and that's working really well. So it's a marketing thought behind it, and we tour through the country with these films. We also screen To Be a Bee Girl, so we subtitled it then for the Dutch audience and girls and boys. But there are so many more possibilities. So already like 10 years ago or something, we started to call VHS, or maybe we already started with DVD. I don't know the history so good anymore. But to bring them to the classroom, actually. Also that they don't depend on going to the festival because it's in Amsterdam, it's early in the morning. So throughout the year we have DVDs and now more and more films online, actually. Also on our IDFA website, because we also do it for the secondary school, so up to 18 years old. And it's really nice because you reach an audience that wouldn't, like the normal IDFA audience is interested in film, high educated, and with the school kids and bringing the films to the classroom, you reach so many more different children from different backgrounds. So I think, and like Bernd also said, there are those smart boards, or how you call them here, and so it's easy, to click and watch a film in the classroom and discuss it afterwards. And those for the kids are like often 15 minutes, so it's a perfect way. And I really should mention then again, don't make the documentaries educational, just show films like we've already seen this afternoon, and then there are so many topics already to make it more educational and discuss about it. But please make like nice, creative, artistic films. And I do think it's time already now, because of those platforms and new things, that the documentary genre should get an invention as well, in a way. Why not make it more, use the platforms more in telling stories, not like the 15 minutes linear story, but like also make it more interactive, but also as filmmakers, you could tell the stories in such a different way. So I would love to see, like actually Herinnerdingen is in a way, but that's still the stories of the children. But also filmmakers could maybe think of ways to bring documentary stories on other platforms to a young audience, I believe. So I'm curious to that future. And using those platforms, we also cooperate with Zappechtgebeurd. So I would like to give the microphone to Melanie now, and for questions later on.
Yes, well, that's IDFA, still IDFA. And now going on to zap.nl/echtgebeurd. And because images or videos say more than words most of the time, I would like to give you a short impression first on about all the content here we have on the website.
Andere manier naar iets kijkt.
It's in Dutch.
Door anders naar te kijken en het anders te zien en anders over te denken, zou je er ook iets anders van kunnen maken.
Maar ik... Jij. Nee. Oké.
Films over het echte leven. Z.nl, echt gebeurd.
So it ends like films about the real life, and then you go to this website, the digital platform. Yeah, there's the keynote again. So let me tell you more about this digital platform and how it's developed. It's started 3 years ago in autumn 2011, and because of it, children's documentaries is already a very important genre in the Netherlands. We had already a digital platform for adults. It's called NPO Doc. Before this was Holland Doc. And because there was already a platform for adults, and thanks to the Kids and Docs workshop and all the producing more and more children's documentaries the past 15 years, we already have more than 300 documentaries on the platform right now. But because of all the producing and with all the different broadcasters, there was a wish to also create a platform for children. And because of all the content, the net manager of ZAP, that's the children's department of the NPO, the public domain, she decided to create that platform and to combine all those different stories on one digital website called Zappechtgebeurd, and she made she gave some budget for it to develop it, and it's managed by the VPRO, so it's not that's one of the broadcasters in the Netherlands, but I work for the VPRO for all the other broadcasters as well. So we pointed out that all the different broadcasters are putting their documentaries on their website, and we also created one license so that all the content could be there together on the digital platform. And so that's why the launch was there 3 years ago on Cinekid with one of the main characters of one of the documentaries who came up to the stage by a motorcycle, really spectacular. And which was really nice to mention as well is that on the Prix Jeunesse last year, a children's documentary won a special prize in the category Most Edgy. So that's it means that it's the best children's program in the last 50 years. And that's the day I decided to be Nina. It's a children's doc from 2006, and it's really special because it's about a boy with transgender dysphoria, and he wants to be a Nina. That's why it's also in the category Most Edgy. But the significant detail here is that we had to share this prize with Teletubbies from the BBC. Yeah. But still, children's documentary won the special prize. Yeah. So how do we reach the target audience? We have a website, of course, where you can watch all the documentaries in different categories with all teams. But also, we came up with junior reporters. Those are children who work for the website, and every month they get a new assignment from me, and they make some little reports. It's more like a peer group method that I want to show children who visit the website that it's also really nice to make a movie themselves, and how it is to do an interview. Because all the children nowadays, they interview, they film all day long, and here at Zappechtgebeurd they learn how to use it and to be better in interviewing. And I would like to show you something, because last summer we started with a new team of junior reporters, and one of the more experienced reporters, you can see him here, that's Matt. He started at the platform 3 years ago, and he made this report of the education day, the workshop day. Impression what junior reporters can do after 3 years working for Zappechtgebeurd, and they are getting better in filming, editing, interviewing. They do all the things by themselves, but we also want to try different things to reach our target audience. And first of all, of course, the festivals, the screenings at Cinekit and IDFA. At the end of the year, but also we work together with online platforms like NPO Doc, which I meant earlier. That's the adult version, and it's also they have our own channel. It's a documentary channel, and in weekends I suggest programming for children's documentaries. So also people at home can get more used to the genre. And the other partner is Movies That Matter. It's also a festival and digital platform, which also pay attention to the children's documentaries during the year. But at the second time, we also are creating an educational value, which I think is very important. So we created a lesson with IDFA, and you can school teachers can screen all the documentaries in their class on their smart boards or their digiboards. They can watch them together, and afterwards they can have a discussion about the topic which they choose. Another big partner is Media Masters. It's an online game, and every year there are more than 3,000 school classes. They attend Media Masters, and at the same time we reach more than 100,000 pupils by that, because one of the assignments is go to the website Zappechtgebeurd, watch the documentary, and by answering some questions they can get bonus points. And every year, like last year, we break a new record. Last year we had 133,000 page views within 1 week, which is really, really big for such a small website. And the third thing is that we're also following actual events, like in Holland. I don't know if it's in Germany as well, but we have a day against bullying, a national day against bullying. Bullying, yeah, thanks. At that day we organized a screening at IDFA with 2 documentaries about that topic, and we invited also the main character and the director, and children could ask some questions after that. So it was also for the bullied kid a very, really special thing to be there, and she was really proud to stand there. And the other way, it can also be taboo breaking to talk about it after the screening. So it works both ways. But for the future, of course, we would like to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe one of the possibilities is to work together with libraries, because they're also working on digital news strategies. And I was also thinking of getting more exchange with more European children's documentaries. So that's also why Meike was telling make more and more movies, because then we can exchange more and show more to the audience. But maybe you have your own suggestions to that. So if you have, I would really like to hear it. Thank you.
And now haben Sie Fragen. Please come.
Ja, eine ganz konkrete.
Yes.
Just in the beginning you told us the budget was...
Wir haben ein Mikro und vielleicht ganz kurz nur den Namen sagen.
Ja, funktioniert. Lutz Gräfe, Freie Journalist. Ich stelle es gleich auf Englisch. In the beginning you mentioned that there was a budget cut about 200 million euro. Okay, that's a very impressive number, but what is the budget now? So how many percent were cut?
Oh dear, yeah, there you asked me something.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't answer that right now, but it's a big part of the budget.
It's like 10%, 20%?
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to say something that... It was 800. Sorry? It was 800. Okay, thank you. So, a quarter of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Weitere Fragen?
Fragt auf.
Ja, ganz da hinten.
Ich habe eine Frage. Sie hatten erwähnt, dass Sie interessiert sind an neuen Approaches oder neuen Herangehensweisen. Und ich weiß nicht, ich kam etwas spät, vielleicht hatten Sie es erwähnt, ob Sie auch interessiert sind an Web-Documentaries speziell und auch im Zusammenhang mit Games und so weiter, ob Sie da selber auch direkt abfragen oder ob das noch eine Idee für die Zukunft ist. Ob es in erster Linie um die linearen Filme geht oder ob Sie da auch neue Ideen tatsächlich anfordern in gewisser Weise.
Do you mean for the workshop, for the Kids and Dogs workshop, or for the...
Or what I said for the festival, yeah.
Well,
Anyway, I think we're at the point that the genre is already evolving that way. You know, there are so many cross-media and transmedia projects already going on in documentary field, but not so many yet for the audience target group of children. So I do think, I'm looking forward to receiving them.
And perhaps regarding the workshop, a couple of years ago, I think we've been discussing whether in this workshop we should add an element of a non-linear storytelling element. But in the end, we decided to stick to the linear documentary, because it's emerging filmmaker. It's a workshop for people, for filmmakers to improve their skills of storytelling, which is already sometimes quite a difficult task to make a good children's documentary of 15 minutes. So we decided to leave that out of the workshop for now. But who knows? I would really like. I mean, I told you about this other lab that we have, that we combine filmmakers with designers, and that can be for any. I mean, for any audience. It could be for adults. But this was a particular project designed for children. So there is space to invent projects like that.
And I think the people from DocsWise are here, right, or are coming tomorrow. Yeah. So that could be maybe a project that could be interesting. I think.
Weitere Fragen?
I try to speak English because you don't wear the headphones. Melanie, you told us that you created one license for the films on the platform Zappechtgebeurd. Can you tell us more about that license and how you dealt with the producers and the filmmakers? So what do they get in exchange for providing their films? I think this is a very interesting question for the German filmmakers.
Yeah, sure. Well, there was one common license for Zappechtgebeurd because, well, in the end, I think first I have to mention that a lot of broadcasters are already producing for Zap, so they know about the children's department. And they also see the important part that that's very important that the documentary is showed. And if it's on television, then it's only one time or maybe one extra time. But when it's on the website, it's still online, so it will be broadcasted in a longer shape, longer way. So now we have contracts that producers have to sign. That when you are signing for the contract, you also have to sign for not only broadcasting on television but also for a website online. And it's not only for 1 year, but I always ask for just forever, yeah. And most of the times it's okay, and always with the exception that if there's a problem with the child, with the main character, with the producer or whatever, then we can also decide to put it on to offline. It can be done with one click of the mouse, but yeah, normally we just ask for a permanent license. Yeah.
And was it difficult to persuade them in the beginning?
In the beginning it was, because there was no website at all. So there was no Zappechtgebeurd, so no one really knew about it, so they didn't know what to expect. But now when it's there and it has already more than 300 stories on it, and people get to know it, and there's more awareness around. So yeah, now they are really willing to. Yeah, they see the value, and they're really willing to cooperate.
And they don't believe that they will earn a lot of money with the films.
No, they know already that they don't really earn a lot of it. A lot with it. Yeah.
Sie können Ihre Fragen auf Deutsch und auf Englisch stellen.
Coming back to the license, does the producer get anything for that, or is it because the budget is totally from Mediafonds, or how does that work? I mean, is the license
for free. I mean, for no extra money for the producer.
No, unfortunately, no extra money for the producer.
But it is meant that the budget comes totally from Mediafonds?
Oh no, the budget for production of the films, that's a quarter from the broadcasters and the 75% from the Mediafonds. That's production budget, and there's of course a fee for the producer as well.
But it means that the budget is totally covered. There is no, let's say, extra money or direct money from anywhere else or from the producer itself.
Well,
to recoup, that's what I mean.
From this workshop, we say this is the budget here. From that money, you should be able to make this 50-minute film. But we don't prohibit creative producers to find extra money, and sometimes they do that. So,
okay.
But it's an exception if they do it.
Yeah, and within that amount, you have a screening on television 1 or 2 times, and on the internet, as permanent as possible.
Hello, and are the films available to be screened outside the Netherlands? Not only in festivals, but to be acquired for the same purposes in other countries?
On the website Zappechtgebeurd, you mean?
No, I mean the films
that
are produced, that are being produced. Can they be sold to other platforms? And I don't mean exactly internet, but other screening clubs or other film societies in other countries?
Yeah, there are some screening clubs. Yeah, it's MPO sales, I think.
Yeah, there are sales agents that actually sell the rights of the film to other broadcasters abroad in other countries. So that goes through the producers and through these sales agents.
Who receives the money in that case?
Albert? Yeah, Albert?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Maybe Albert can answer that.
Okay.
Also wenn Sie auch Fragen zu dem Film haben, Klänge für Masin, das ist der Producer Albert Klein-Haveland, der auch morgen am Samstag auf dem Podium sitzt, Hanefeld, ich habe den Namen gerade falsch ausgesprochen, Entschuldigung. Also in der Pause haben Sie auch die Möglichkeit, ihm Fragen auch zum Film noch zu stellen. Und da haben wir noch eine Frage.
Yes. I would like to know about your experience with the website. I mean, are there certain topics who are more attractive to the users than others? And do you know anything about the age of your users?
Well, for the first question, yes, definitely. We have one category, it's love, so that's a very popular one. And the other one is family and healthness. So those 3 are really, and then we still have friendship, history, sports. Yeah, sports. I thought sport was more popular, but no, not at all. Or not that much at least. And your other question, well, we know we can only research on or we get some figures of course, but I don't know which are children and which are adults, because they're only paid views, and so I don't know that.
Okay, Sie hat noch eine Frage? Ja.
I would like to ask if anyone can watch those films online that you have produced.
Yeah, some are geo-blocked, but not all of them.
Because I work for One World Film Festival, and we also have a digital platform, and we have over 100 films, and we do pay producers from our grants, and we do have some of your films also, but our platform is for schools only, for elementary and secondary schools. So that's just somebody asked here, if we obtain some of the films from your producers, we do pay them a fee, and we also try to have it for an indefinite amount of time, if possible.
Okay. And are the schools also paying for it? No? Okay. So what is the business model of your platform?
It's non-profit.
It's non-profit.
It's non-profit.
So
we get grant money from anywhere we can, and so that we can pay the producers, but the schools get it for free.
Okay.
And you're from Prague. And your name is?
Jana Dozhimska.
Welcome. So, get in contact during the break. Any questions? Okay, then thank you very much for coming. Vielen Dank. Wir machen